Hello, my name is Eric, and I am doing my persuasive speech for the Capstone Project. Uh, I will be talking about how volunteering can improve your mental and physical health. I will be providing a list of different benefits provided by a doctor. I will also be showing you how that light activity can burn significant calories over long periods of time. And finally, I will list the community benefits and overall results that volunteering can have on a community and the service receivers of volunteering. Throughout the speech, I'll be making arguments why this follows the Christian worldview. I want to persuade you guys that you should be participating in volunteering in the community. This includes all kinds of volunteer work, big and small, just going down to the local food bank and volunteering your time there, cleaning up roads, anything like that. The Bible tells us in John 3:18, let us not love with our words or our speech, but with actions. I want to tell you about the physical and emotional and spiritual benefits that you receive from volunteering. As Christians and as humans, we have a strong moral obligation to help the less fortunate. But first, let's talk about what you receive from volunteering. Volunteering has been shown to provide many benefits for the volunteers themselves, as well as the service receivers. According to Dr. Siegel over at helpguide.org, volunteering provides a plethora of benefits for both the mind and the body. It's been shown to counteract the effects of stress, anger, and anxiety. Volunteering has been shown to combat depression. Volunteering has also been shown not only to combat depression, but to make you happier. According to a study published by the National Library of Medicine, it's about 11 to 15% happier on average among volunteers, with the value going higher as they become more involved and develop more altruistic intent. Volunteering increases personal self-confidence in both the volunteer and the volunteer receiver. This is also supported by numerous other studies from the National Library, as well as the National Community Service Board. Volunteering provides a sense of purpose among the volunteers. Volunteering helps you stay physically healthy as well. Doing rough calculations on every kind of volunteering activity and spitting that out is kind of impossible because it's such a wide range. But in general, light activity burns 200 to 400 calories an hour, which is the recommended daily calorie burning. And this is supported by caloriecalculator.org. And this is even before you get into the physical benefits of reduced stress levels, because there's a link between mental health and physical health, such as reduced cortisol levels from the reduction of stress and depression, according to the Mayo Clinic. These physical and emotional benefits align with what the Bible tells us about volunteer work in Isaiah 58:10. If you spend yourself in behalf of the hungry and satisfy the needs of the oppressed, then your light will rise in the darkness and your night will become like the noonday. This is basically saying that if you volunteer and you provide benefit to the community, you will receive personal benefits. Your light will rise and you will become happier and you will shine bright. Finally, if the personal benefits of volunteering aren't what convinces you, you're fine already, you don't need to be any better personally, maybe the benefits to the community and the service receivers will convince you. In a study on the impact of volunteer work on service providers by the University of Wales Lampster, they found the following. Service receivers had increased self-esteem. They were able to have better disease management and acceptance. Women who were breastfeeding had increased breastfeeding uptake, duration, and satisfaction and knowledge in breastfeeding. The immunization of children in the community where volunteers volunteered in immunization work increased by about 20%. There was improved mental health in children in communities where volunteers worked with mental health. There was longer survival times for hospice patients who had volunteers assisting in the hospice home. There was reduced depression among all volunteer or service receivers. And the list goes on. There's a list of about 50 different kinds of volunteer work that correlates to how the service receiver had a better life afterwards. So in conclusion, I'd like to leave you with one final proverb from the Bible about why you should volunteer that really sums up the arguments I've made in my speech. One person gives freely, yet gains even more. Another withholds unduly, but comes to poverty. Enjoy your day, have a great time, and thank you for listening to my speech.